For example, there are countries having over 60% of their national territory covered with forests, like Sweden and Finland in the northern part of Europe, as well as states with less than 15%, as Denmark and the United Kingdom. The majority of the EU members, Romania being one of them, have a balanced land use structure, the forests covering 1/3 of their national territories. The next one, please. Nevertheless, the main interest on the forest, even today, when the entire world understands the need of protecting the environment, is economic. Living in a consumer society, people need more and more products, and wood being a traditional building material and fuel, the forest industry represents an important sector in many states. The production of groundwood, the main forestry product, is almost evenly spread over the world. Nevertheless, Europe, including Russia, is again on the first place, this continent being also the main consumer as the result of a highly developed industrial system. The structure of this industrial sector in EU is complex. Almost half of the groundwood being used as sawnwood, wood-based panels, veneer sheets, plywood, etc. Second in the hierarchy is the production of wood pulp, mainly chemical wood pulp. Almost a quarter of the roundwood production is still used as wood fuel, and this type of usage is growing. Analyzing the production and consumption figures at the national level in EU, one can discover the correlation with the forest land distribution. Countries with large forested areas have also a very well-developed industry and high production respectively. As you can see here, Sweden and Finland being on the first places, 2 places, while United Kingdom being among the last countries. Romania is placed in the second half, proving to have a higher consumption than production. Comparing the next one, please. Comparing the structure of production between the 3 countries analyzed in this paper, one can observe some similarities and differences. The main production in all the 3 cases is the sawnwood, no less than 50%. The difference begins with the other types of production. Taking into account this context, a discussion on the forestry legal framework and regulations in the 3 countries analyzed in this paper can offer important information concerning the experience and the interests these states have for the sustainable development of their forested areas. From this point of view, Romania can take a good example from the other 2 countries. The next, please. Well, in the context of a global trend towards smart, sustainable and inclusive growth, where the forests occupy an important place, all the EU member countries adopt new regulations following the objectives of the EU forest strategy. As mentioned before, the UK is a country in great need of forest cover. Recognizing that England's trees, woods and forests are a vital national asset providing multiple economic, social and environmental benefits, the government's main objective is to ensure their protection, management and enhancement so that the benefits to be both maximized now and realized in the future. The UK forestry policy is therefore based on resilience. The main objectives of this policy are, first, the protection of the trees, woodlands and forests from increasing threats such as pests, diseases and climate change. The second one, the improvement of the resilience to these threats and contribution to economic growth, people's lives and nature. And third, the expansion to increase further economic, social, and environmental value. The basic principles of the forestry policy in UK are the economic growth. The policies are to promote sustainable growth, maximizing the value of the woodland assets, providing public benefits, and protecting natural environment. Then, government should do what only government can do, providing the right legislative and fiscal framework so that the sector can pursue its woodland interests. Deregulation, offering the freedom of the sector to pursue its woodland interests, the government regulations being applied only when and to the extent necessary. Localism, local authorities, businesses, and communities being best placed to decide their local priorities. Partnership, supporting the partnership between the government, the forestry, and the woodland sector. And, in the end, value of money. Spending public money as efficiently and effectively as possible in order to gain the best yield for the taxpayers. Now, in Sweden, a country having more than 24 million hectare forest land, half of it being private property, especially small holdings, the forestry model is mainly shaped by the country's natural conditions and constraints, its history, the knowledge and experience of the forest owners, and the tradition of consensus policies based on mutual respect, understanding, and compromise. The country has an old legal framework, but the first more modern law in 1903 aimed to ensure forest land remains in a productive state. Later on, other laws proposed sustainable and profitable management regulations. In 1993, a reversal of policy took place. The new Forestry Act starts with a statement that the forest is a national resource and equal importance being given to the aspect of the environmental conservation and the production goal. This is the law of freedom under responsibility. The main stipulations of this law are mandatory reforestation after final felling, a ban on the felling of young stands, an obligation on forest owners to carry out preventive control on insect pests, special management regimes for valuable hardwood forests and upland forests, and the general duty of care for objects or sites of natural, historical, or heritage value in the forests. Now, what happens in Romania? Romanian forestry finds itself in a total different situation. As mentioned before, the forest cover is now 1/3 of the entire national territory, suffering a great loss compared with the situation from the beginning of the 19th century, when the forests cover 15 to 60% of this country's surface. Forest exploitation is very old in Romania, and the first law can be found during the Roman period. Starting with that period until present, the legal framework developed in connection with the political and administrative evolution of the territories that belonged to different Romanian regions. Except in the decades when this country was ruled by the Communist Party, the forests were mainly private property. Consequently, after 40 years of total state control, in 1991, the new forestry legislation created the conditions for the returning of small forest areas to former owners. In 2000, a new law took into consideration the restitution of all community, town, and communal forests up to 10 hectares for individuals and 30 hectares for churches. The protected forests were not taken into discussion that moment, but later on, in 2005 and 2013, further expanded the restitutions to the entire forest area claimed by former owners, regardless to size and protected area status took place. All this restitution process favored the development of illegal activities, fraudulent timber exploitation, and in the end, the dramatic decrease of the forest areas. The next one. Well, even in present, there are numerous conflicting viewpoints on the main forestry law, the Forestry Code, passed in 2014. Concerning this new regulation, AmCham, the American Chamber of Commerce, representatives in Romania say that the amendments proposed under this draft law are far from solving the dramatic problem posed by the ongoing illegal deforestation and retrocessions. The same source claims that given the frequent floods and landslides of the last years that had catastrophic effects on certain regions of the country, the role played of the national forest area has become vital for communities, whereas the changes proposed under the new forestry code, especially the diminution of the land surface to be afforested by the Romanian state, do nothing but aggravate the situation and pose a risk to the safety of the population from the area prone to such disasters. As you can see here, I found a map, very interesting map, showing how much only in 1 year from 2010 to 2011, the deforestation areas developed. Yes, the red areas on that map. And you can see also there are many pictures like that in Romanian Carpathians. Okay, and in conclusion, being one of the last new European members, Romania has been trying ever since to improve its legislation according to the EU directives concerning the sustainable forestry development. Nevertheless, there are a lot of difficulties resulting from previous negative experiences and incoherent policies. In these conditions, Romania is now in position to take lessons from more experienced countries like UK and Sweden presented here in this paper. Thank you very much.
So, please have a seat. Okay, so we will prepare for the questions. Before introducing the next speaker, I would like you to allow me to say hello to our colleagues from Turkey, Çorum, Turkey, which are watching us via live streaming. Professor Eşref Bashi is one of my closest cooperators that have made possible to have papers also from Turkey. Unfortunately, our Turkish colleagues are not with us only virtually, so they will have their presentation via Skype. So if they have any questions, I have my Skype on my phone, so I will read the name and the questions for the presenters. Just a quick check. If they are not at this moment, I will invite you. No, they are not in this moment. It's a bit of a delay between what we have here and what is seen there. So I will collect the questions at the end. So I kindly invite Professor Zavai Ferenc to present the paper. Thank you very much for considering coming to our university and our conference. And I do hope that we will foster our cooperation. Maybe you can become the next partner university in 2017 conference. So, dear professor, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank for Manuela for organization and the name ECAU. ECAU is East and Central European Universities Association. It's a very important organization, the SELEC conference also. I have more slides, and I think we must speak the first 6. I think it's very, very nice. It is by universities, the Kakosai universities. I came from South Hungary. It's very nice universities, and I think in the middle, Central European, the best and beautiful universities. And I am rector here, and I thought I have today 2 very important topics. First, the time. Second, economic growth. And I am an economic historian, and see you here the economic history, modern history has also micro and micro, and macro and others at the political levels. And for me, it's very important the macro level in the economic growth, and modernization without theory and theoretical foundation of economics, so we cannot speak about. And here the tradition, and it's very important in your life, this pastime, and it was believing and believing. And here I founded the tradition from the year 1913, and the tradition was in Hungarian books and review the foreign affairs. And 2nd March 1914, it was the prediction, the oil to 2000. It will be for life, people life enough, not enough. And other side, the oil, the black blood, the battles that would be it decide fate of war. From months was very interesting. And I would like to connect to other lectures before the limits of the growth, the next. That's very important for me. And I find other books from Colin Clark from 1941, also very important Australian publisher was Colin Clark, and probably made and organized the international units. International units also, it was experience very important for economic growth, and contemporary 8 states, it was very nice made, and it was analyzed anatomy of the economic growth. Also, it's very important the economic growth in my life. And other sides I have funded from other very important yes, today we have more questions after and before and in the time of the industrialization. See you later here. It is the problem for economic growth, and we have 2 very important different problems. The rates of consumption, and the other side, inequality of sharing researches. Also, it's very important. And I find it also from 2014, also the world economy and globalization, and I tested in 2000 also. We have enough reserve, and 2014 also it was prepared 10 years ago. This very important and very nice paper, and we checked and we controlled the dynamic. The strongest in the developing countries, China and India, that it is the right. But it is the questions, what is the future? And we can prediction, and the new prediction also we can see in the water problem and in the world more and more conflict zone. And we spoke about these different problems today, and I think my slide is very similar, and we can prepare the next. Yes, and as it was checked, I think it is the right. China and India, it is and these territories in the 16 and 17 economic growth at the top, and the dynamic and the growth also is very interesting these periods. But the first, the China and India economic growth is the first. Yes, in the regional economic growth we can see, and East and South Asia, that is the first, is very important. And after this, also it is the dates, so very important to 2015, United States and Asia and others, and the financial crisis and the next. Yes, and the globalization we heard about today and the limits of the growth also. The financial crisis also the 28. And it is this the next prediction. And in my life, probably I can check this. National Intelligence Council global trends was very nice prediction. And this prediction is this conflicts for conflicts, conflicts after conflicts within the next years. In the general, scarcity of water and foods and energy, and here we can see the water problem, and here this conflict zone in Africa, North Africa and Asia, and the first is in Tanzania, the first the blue line, that is the scarcity and water problem. The water, and I think the next goal probably will be for water. And national research also, I think this period not very good, and we can be clear. And I think, yes, and environment problem, we can, but the first, the conflict zone is the water. And we have the water, virtual exchange price, the water you can find, 1 kilogram on the wheat, probably 1,300 liter water is the equivalent. 1 kilogram beef is 70,000 liter water. Can you?
So, I want to
Yes, to put
have a look at
yes. And 1 liter gas line, 1.5 liter water, 1 liter biogas line, 1,000 liter water also.
So, I have a question, just a quick reason. Here it said that until 2025 it will reach 8 billion population growth. But if we see that European countries, they are getting older, and
Yes.
low-income countries like India, African countries, population is growing. But surprisingly, European countries which are developed, people
Yes.
do not marry and they do not have babies.
Yes.
The first day when me and my friend were here, we asked the girl, she said that people in Romania, they do not marry as not to have babies. That from 23 million people, Now, the population of Romania is 20 million. I don't know correctly. She said, according to her. It's surprising because European countries which are modernized, which are developed, yes, they should have more population as to be balanced in them. So, or the countries from, like the people from countries like India, China, Indonesia, African countries, people should become and to be settled in European countries. But we see that Muslim people who are coming to be settled in European Christian countries, they bring unfortunately terrorists. I do not want to discriminate, but this doesn't bring balance. Yes. So what to do? This is my question. What kind of suggestion do you have? Because until 2025, it's very how to say, it's a pity. Population will reach, but we do not have normal energy, soul, yes, water. So what will have? It will be disruptive.
Yes.
We are not we are going to be developed. No, we are going to be under.
Yes,
Do you agree or no?
Yes, I think the questions, it is very actual. It is today the refugees problem and in the European Union, and the older European Union, the population normally older and lost the population. On the other side, the Muslims and the Asian and North Africa, it is the overpopulation. This population, the assaults, national assaults is very important. The assaults in Europe, we have, I think, 80% is national resources, the Europe, and it's very important for other countries, for example, water. Water and the clean water is very important for refugees and migrants and others, and foods also. And these times in Europe, it was the population problem, and I think we haven't employment, enough employment also. And it was the German invitation for migrants and refugees. But these refugees and migrants, it is a complex problem. I think it is the world, and after Huntington, we can work. It is the world civilization.
Yeah, I'm not telling that Muslims shouldn't come to European countries, yes?
Yes.
Because in Africa there are a lot of Christians. For example, my friend is a Christian, and he's national, among his national. Even in this country, Muslims and Christians, they are always attacking each other, killing each other. So this is a problem. My question is that what to do, because people in Africa, children, they are dying because there is no food. There is a good comment like in photos it's shown. In European countries we are discussing like Apple to have, Samsung to have, yes?
Yes.
iPad to have, or in African countries we are discussing to have water, to
Yes.
have food as not to die.
Yes.
In Cyprus, government uses solar to have hot water, yes, and it's very good. You can have hot water during the whole day. Electricity, for electricity, now the government is looking for ways to have electricity from solar. But Cyprus population is how to say, it's about 1 million, even not 1 million. But what to do for European countries, even for Africa where the population is great? This soul is just one soul. For whole world it can, but what to do is to have energy and not to suffer.
Yes, Pamela.
Yes.
As a specialized,
Okay,
just
Emma, I would like to suggest you some readings. I have had research an exploratory research on population aging, and it is posted on my website, so I will advise you how to get there. It is interesting what you have said about Romania. Yes, it is true that the population is decreasing as a number, and the pyramid of age is reversing. I mean, older, elderly people are bigger than the young. So it will be very interesting to have this, to gain more knowledge.
Okay.
So,
in the end, I will take the website.
Okay.
Yes,
Please,
I
Professor.
think it is difficult problem, and thank you very much. But it is the best questions. What is Europe? And 10 years ago, we have a prediction about these Muslims and the new tendency, and today it is no. And
Maybe to be more patient towards them, I don't know.
yes.
For example, in Armenia, from those times, like Persian government attacked Armenia, they built their Muslim, how to say, place where they go, and until now is kept. So this way we respect them. When they come, they feel like they are their home. They have their library. At that place, the people they can read, they can be educated, and they can
Understanding between people and respect each other, I think it's the best way to approach. But I think the global problems cannot be solved overnight. I mean, if we look a little bit to millennium goals, eradicate poverty, access to resources, they are very ambitious goals. So it should be a common effort. So when we choose the theme, rethinking global economy, we have in mind that we need to have a global effort to really change something, because having a sustainable growth means that we will have enough wealth to support and eradicate some of the problems. But inequalities will be over the world in some parts. We cannot solve everything.
Some European countries, including France, they do not respect Muslim people's rights, because as we saw from France results, that it happened when they criticized their Allah. They put like some photos, yes?
Okay,
like they attack journalists.
Emma, I'm sorry, it's not the right moment, and it's
No,
not
no,
the right place
my
to
question.
shift it.
No, I know.
Okay, it's about resources.
I am asking what to do connected with this.
I think
what kind of ways
we cannot answer directly at this moment to this the question, but efforts are
connected with solar energy, like
yes, it is.
What to do is to...
For example, the Romanian government have paid incentives to develop solar panel fields, and in some points we have supported some kind of investments. Also in the east part of Romania, where is wind from the side, we have developed a windmill for electricity, and it was with European money and also with the Romanian government money. So some progress are made also in Romania, but I think the renewable energies are not producing enough to cover the traditional energy. I'm not in the field, so it's not my specialty, but I have that. Okay, so it's need to rethink to this a little bit.
Yes, and
so
a more small problem in the world, also the five states, also, for example, in Africa, you can organize the people, and the whole states, for example, Afghanistan and other, so are more dangerous, and these refugees, can you stop? And also in Europe we have more problem. And the 2014, after 2014, 2025, we can, the next problem in the middle and several different cities. And the road, yes, see here, the road, and in China and Korea also the same problem we came. And today in Europe, and the question is for Europe, but I think the same problem really came also in these countries. And the climate change also, this problem, and the next 50 years emission of the gas housing, also, and my favorite pictures will come. No, so other. Yes. The next.
Next.
Yes, and here you can see this The water problem, we have more water problem here, and also the other problem, the renewable energy. Today we have more problem and dangerous. People believe this, and as such the economic growth, we have the possibilities about economic growth speak today. Yes, and this is the it's very important the time, and after the summary, also very important the timing. Timing is most important. And 2025 for timing and renewable energy cost $5.5 billion. Okay. The emission problem, carbon problem. Yes, the physical water scarcity and little, and see here the water problem, scarcity problem also, and it's very important, and this equivalency also. Okay. Okay. Per capita drinking water consumption. And I came from Hungary. In Hungary, we had more reserve today. Yes, it's here, it's very interesting, this virtual exchange price of water. For example, 1 kilogram bean is 50,000 liter water. And prediction for 2024, can you see scarcity picture several, and my favorite picture is, this is very nice, positive proof of global warming. And the last prediction, 2013, can you, it is my last slide. Yes, the Saudi Arabian, and we can see the history here. It is the caricature about Russia and other countries. Also, timing is very important. We spoke about in 2013. We must the timing very good used, and prediction 2013, and it is the last. Also, very important questions in the timing, and 2013 we have the possibilities the world war organized, and this working paper has 4 scenarios. You can see here. See, for example, fusion, USA and China cooperate worldwide, it's very interesting. And non-state world, okay, this is very interesting. And US and Europe turning by globalization styles. And the third, Jimmy out of the bottle, economic inequalities combination. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Of course, we invite you here just for the questions. Next, I would like to invite our colleague, ICESBA, which is presenting another paper, but it's slightly different. It's more pragmatic approach, so please. Okay, so it is Luminica first. Luminica is
Excuse me.
it
I
will
don't
be
fit
on
the
the
program. Excuse me.
So Luminica will present the role of professional accountants in business administration. Why such a topic in this area? Because actually we need to take account of everything is facing. So I would like Luminica to be very concise in your presentation, and to stress what is really important in business administration, because all these problems can be solved with growth, economic growth, which business is supposed to provide. Please.
speakers, dear guests. I am presenting today a written paper for you about the role of professional accountants in business administration. And I was thinking about this topic because rethinking the global economy, it means we need accountants. No business is running in the world without a professional accountant, because we know money is still important, and we could find the profit, the loss, the costs, the expenses everywhere, and all this data must be handled and accounted by the professional accountants. I know this paper is quite different compared with the other that were presented today, but I want to present you a few information about the accounting. So accounting has a long history, basically, back thousands of years ago, and accounting is related with the Egyptian, Babylonian, Roman Empire, and it was related first of all with public administration, local administration, and taxes collection. At that time, millennia ago, accountants were public servants, just employed in public administration and responsible for the tax collection. No, it was too fast, please. Too fast. But nowadays, the situation is a little bit different, because professional accountants, when I mean professional accountants, it means a qualified accountant, not just a simple accountant who's collecting and counting some money and papers. A professional accountant is an expert, is a specialist in economics and business, and we cannot have the business administration if we don't have a professional accountant to look after the business. Because most of the businesses involve at least one accountant, if not many accountants. And if we are talking about the big corporations, there are departments with accounting, finance, payroll, and other internal management reporting. And without these professional accountants working in commerce, industry, financial services, education included, even universities and research institutes, they have accountants. So basically, it's almost impossible without us. I am a professional accountant, member of Romanian accounting body, and I'm working in accountancy for 29 years. So I know very well what I'm talking about. Many accountants are running their own businesses. It means they set up a business in the accounting, and they have some clients, small clients or big clients, depends on the market, the region of the country. But also accountants are in position of strategic or functional leadership for important companies. And most of the times, accountants are involved in big decisions adopted by the companies, public institutions, and even governments. And I'm sure even in Brussels, accountants have a very important position there. And I know that a few years ago, there were a big number of accountants wanted from Romania to be employed in Brussels, to speak, of course, Romanian, English, and French, and to account for numbers of papers for Brussels and financial reporting sending from Romanian government to Brussels. So we could find accountants everywhere. And I'm questioning, maybe we could find accountants even after life. We shall see that. On the next slide, for those who don't know, this is the father of accounting. Luca Pacioli is his name, and he was a mathematician, a teacher, and an Italian priest. And he was looking after the money of the Italian church and other Italian businesses, because at that time, in the 15th century, Italy was very good in business. So accounting was born in Italy and then was developed and spread all over the world. To return to the the professional accountant in business, we noticed that we became, the professional accountants, we became more important, sadly, after the recent economic crisis. We don't know why our position was not so important before, but after 2008, 2010, when many people lost their savings, they have a lot of debts in the bank, and they are paying many decades from now on, maybe even their children, they are paying low in the bank. They realized that it was important to know some accounting. The same thing we could say about the companies as well, because they were not careful with their money, their investment, and their assets. From my own experience, I can tell you, you cannot find any poor accountant. No accountant will lose his or her money. Any accountant will know what to do with his or her money. So, an accountant, a professional accountant, is capable not just working with the finance discipline. Professional accountant could be found across all levels in public administration, central administration, local administration, but also in any other industry. Sales, marketing, information technology, everywhere you want. From the small business to the big corporation, everywhere there are professional accountants. And depends how good they are, they will be wanted and employed by the most important companies. And one particular aspect in our accountancy profession is that age is an asset for any professional accountant. The older the accountant is, everybody wants him, because it is the general opinion that age will bring experience and knowledge to the professional accountant. So from this point of view, it's a very good career for any specialist in accountancy. A few words I want to share with you about the Romanian accounting profession, which is something very interesting in Europe, because I know in Europe Romania has a very poor position. We don't know exactly why, but I can tell you that Romanian accounting profession is the most important one in Europe. Romanian accounting profession, which is counting professional accountants only, not regular accountants, not registered, has about 60,000 members in a country with 20 million people. Despite the fact that other European countries with more populations and they have less professional accountants. This is something very interesting because Romania, after 50 years of communists, started to do business in the last 26 years, and we have 60,000 professional accountants. And other countries who are doing business for centuries, they have less professional accountants than Romania. This is an idea to think in the future. Why? To understand better the perception of accounting profession in Romania and the professional accountants and the role of the professional accountants, I developed a research based on a local survey of more than 100 entrepreneurs and managers, and I wanted to know if their opinion is if we have a good and strong accounting profession in Romania. And I'll present the results in the following image. According to the answer that I was collecting from the people, 85% of the interviewers said that it is a strong accounting profession in Romania and the role of the professional accountant is important. 30% said they don't think so, and 2% they don't know. On the second question, we wanted to know that according to their business experience, how will be the role of the professional accountant in the near future? And the results were 75% of the respondents said the role of the professional accounting will be more important than today. And 25% of the respondents said that other specialists like lawyers, notary, bankers, other kind of experts will be more important in the near future. So we could see the chart in the following image. And we shall see in the near future, is their opinion, it's quite like the real life of what? Because we don't know what will happen in the near future. We shall see about that. But according to this survey, it is important to mention that most of the people that we interviewed admitted that professional accountant has a significant role in the business administration and any kind of business at all levels. Also, they think that in the near future will be a positive evolution of accounting. I mean, accounting will be more accurate, more transparent, and more friendly, to say that. Because now we have the friendly computers, friendly soft, friendly Facebook, and many other friendly things. So in the past, unfortunately, accounting was a special language of business, just for the people who have the knowledge. But we have hope in the near future that accounting will be more open than before. So I hope you are not bored with my presentation, and if you like more details, you can find in my paper that will be published on the...
It's already published.
It's already published on the conference
On
board.
Procedia, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really take good care of our money, so pay attention to your accountant.
Always.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to invite now our colleague ICESBA Portugal, which is presenting a paper about global financial cycle and international production networks, international investment position of Romania through its main ingredients. So, my colleague Portugal have worked with our colleague Elena Guru on this paper. They are mature and experienced colleagues of ours, so we would like to see a presentation. You have the floor.
Thank you. On
You
the
don't have
global economy, there are very big problem now. It's a bigger problem after the Second War. Now, on the market, there are amount of money, but the amount of business is 4 times bigger. How the two big countries, United States and China, will solve this problem very quickly? It's very important for all the countries. In an internal and external environment market by high degrees and uncertainty. The vulnerability of the Romanian economy has faced not long ago is likely or to recur only a coherent set of policy on macroeconomic, structural and macroeconomic prudential enablement. Development Romanian economy, upward long-term price stability and financial system in these circumstances. The process of economic convergence, nominal and real, will take place in a sustainable manner. Its advance being achieved while maintaining macroeconomic balance in the absence of a serious efforts on this regard. This is a danger, notable performance on these fronts, especially visible in 2015, but achieved over time, not last. Global financial cycle and the recent experience of emerging economies. The evolution of emerging economies in the past 2 years marked by turbulence in the financial markets and output massive capital reminded the policy market economics importance and understanding the global financial cycle effects of national economy. Global financial cycle can be understood as a result of continuous interaction between investor perception of the value of assets, their appetite for risk, and the financial constraint encouragement. Gives the important role of the United States dollar held on only an international trade, but also international financial market. The Fed's monetary policy is an important source of global financial cycles fluctuation. Moreover, its recent speech of New York Fed President said that the United States central banks has a special responsibility to manage monetary policy in a way to contribute to promoting global financial stability. This internal coordination proved to be more relevant in time of sudden change in investor sentiments. And especially for, I don't intend to speak about the statistical point of view, but the investments in East country, it's in a low level. For example, in Romania, the investments is not at all at the level needed by the economy. France, for example, is 44, Netherlands is 80, UK 10, Germany 9, and Austria 3.5. The problem is in European Union, how it's the interest of central country to the east country who needed big investment and who don't have for the moment a good financial system, who is not efficient. This problem can be solved after the agreement, we hope this year, before the end of this year, between China and the United States. Because if they don't solve this problem, the global economy will see a new crisis and a very big inflation.
Thank you very much. I advise everybody to look on the publication on the website. It is Procedia 2016, and you have also the previous ones. So about the figures and arguments of Professor Kochman, you can read the figures and statistics in this extended paper. So thank you very much, Professor Kochman. I would like you to have a very short, brief presentation of our colleague Marie Cornelia. And
sorry,
I
do have that.
Okay, so we have time to collect questions about the presentations. If there are questions, please ask. If you like to address directly to the speakers, I will provide you their address, email address, to communicate with them. I strongly encourage you to think interdisciplinary and to find common interest with your peers, I mean with colleagues from abroad and also inside the university. So please, please.
Thank you. It's for Professor Ionescu Luminița,
Yes.
if it's correct to pronounce it. pronounced. I wanted to ask you one thing about your survey. Did your respondents had some international accounting experience? So based on their opinion on Romanian experience, I just want to see if you had collected the data in your survey about their international experience so they can compare Romanian to some other accounting profession in some other country. So because the survey is exact, I mean you have more than 80% who are appraising Romanian accounting. So I just wanted to ask, do you have that kind of data maybe in your survey?
No, we don't have this.
Oh, you just had these just as a preliminary survey, so you didn't go into depth to see what people have in their experience. You just asked those 3 or 4 questions in the survey.
I developed this research based on local businesses in Romania, most of them in Bucharest, and we are not based on international experience for this research.
Okay, so it's
Next
there.
one.
Yeah, okay, that's it. I just wanted to know.
So thank you, Slobodan, for your question. Are there any other questions about this? If not, I suggest you to stay here because we are waiting our colleagues from the panel B, which are almost ready to join us for the summary, brief summary of presentation and discussions that will be presented by our students, Eugene Christopher and Magan Stian. And then we will have the lunch buffet downstairs where we have the coffee. It's a cocktail buffet.
I'd like to say something.
Please.
Maybe I would like to continue the discussion
Yes,
opened
please.
by the young colleague. Well, concerning the population evolution and differences between the 2 worlds, yes, developed and underdeveloped areas. Well, there is a lot of talking about the conflict of civilizations, yes. But I believe because we are here in the economic, let's say, mainly economic area, maybe we should think of the fact that a lot of, or the predominant way of thinking in the Western civilization is concentrated on money, how to make money, how to develop the economy. So we discussed here a lot about the development of economy, the change, yes, in globalization. But on the other hand, there is the other part of the world which is underdeveloped. They do not, their way of thinking is not always concentrated on money, mainly on money. They have to survive, and to survive with the local resources, yes? So I think maybe we should think more complex to the fact that our world is not made only of money, and we should have a lot of money and develop our economies, but at the same time we should look at the fact that our world is a living world, yes? And as I presented in my presentation, people are thinking especially how to make a lot of money, and less how to live in relation with the living world. As you can see in Sweden and in UK, they are turning round. They are looking to the natural world. They are looking for natural. While we are still here in the in Romania, for example, we are still looking to the economic development, more money. And I'm telling that because I had developed research together with a professor from Oxford, and we were looking at the way people are thinking about the forest property, yes. As I told you, before 1945, yes, before the communist period, the forest land was private, yes, property. Then, during the communist period, there was only state property. Now, asking the people how do they think about this new property, regained forest property, the old ones just remember the fact that they were linked directly to the forest as to a living body. They were, they were in a very good relation with their property being a living body. Now they say the young people are seeing in the forest only the money. They were saying this, yes? There is not something living there, just money. Because it's very good to have a very expensive car. It's very good to have a large house, yes. They are very proud of having so important properties. But they do not see the forest. They do not see the importance of the living body around us. That's why we have those differences, yes. That's why, as Professor said before, there is a scarcity and will be a scarcity of water and everything because the resources are too much exploited just to have this kind of new environment, yes, which is not natural.
So, thank you very much, Liliana, for this approach because it is a real one. Actually, the situation is almost the same with the land. I mean, agricultural land. Young generation are not so keen to go back and exploit their land, I mean, the family land. And also the exploitation are fragmented in Romania, small farms, very small stuff, and that cannot be efficient, isn't it? So we need to rethink a little bit and reconnect people with natural resources and to understand the importance of this. What Liliana shows us in one or two pictures about deforestry is really dramatic. I have been and I've seen this. I think we are the most, how to say, unwise people from Europe about green areas and forestry. I mean, it's the land. Forestry is the land for us, and they provide trees are providing us a very good living area. So we need to be more strict in this area. I mean, the legislation is not so strict in Romania about exploitation of the forest.
At the same time, the legislation is, let's say, until 2014, it was quite okay. The problem was how do they use it at the local level? Yes, because every owner or people working in the field were just interpreting the law as they really were interested in.
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. If you like, yes, please.
I have a question. I'm from the Faculty of Architecture, lecturer in urban sociology, and I would like to ask you about the role of entertainment economy and urban tourism within this global economic system. This concept, term of entertainment economy is not coined by me, but by other sociologists.
Okay, so please, Professor Zama, would you like to join us, please?
Thank you.
Aristide, please. Liliana, join us. Because you should be here with me, Liliana.
I think it was very important, the both opinion, and also it was very important this tourism. And my questions, the forest, that is the ownership, that was my first part. You spoke about the ownership, the private and states. In Hungary, today we have the tendency, social responsibility. And for example, all forest companies has very nice health program and others for people more money. thinking here in the West European countries, but it is obligation and very good topic right in Hungary about these people, this forest open, and for health is also very important. And other side, the sustainable development and the growth also, and the speed. We spoke about speeds, and today's other thinking in the I think in the Africa and the West European countries, and here in Romania also this social responsibility. We have a project, and UK I think yes, and Romania also develop independence and
Well, I cannot say we really have such kind of legal framework. I didn't read anything about that, but anyway, I shall look on to see if there is any legal trend to this social responsibility. But as I told you, there is a problem with using, laws. Not there are laws, but using them, applying them.
Make them work.
Yeah, to make them work, that's
Yes.
a real problem, yes. So concerning the tourism development, well, in Romania we discussed a lot after 1990 about development of tourism, and we see now, yes, that the tourism economy or industry is not so well developed compared to the countries, other European countries or the countries around.
Especially the urban tourism.
Yes, especially the urban tourism. There is also a lot of discussion about the rural tourism. There was a lot done in the rural tourism. It should be done more in agricultural tourism, agrotourism, because this is a very important field, but it's not done very much in this field. But anyway, concerning the forest, yes, I don't think there is too much done in this field. I mean, using the forest for tourism development or something like this. Yes, there are some few, let's say, spots on the map, but not so much. Compared to the United Kingdom, where there is such a big tradition, and I've been there and I've seen, for example, a project of developing a new forest in Leicestershire, which was quite impressive. They do not have forests, but they are, planting a lot of forests. So that was a very interesting project there, and it was at the beginning because I was expecting to see a forest. There was no forest, there were just small trees, yes, planted. They were waiting for the new forest, but anyway, they had already put there the tourism activities. So that was in the beginning, and the forest was developing. I am very I would like to go back there to see what happens to the forest. I think in 20 years the forest is quite grown.
So we have another question, please.
Yeah.
Would
Yes,
you first say your name and
if I may something as well. So my name is Dragoș Ungureanu, Faculty of Economic Sciences, and I do entirely agree with your point of view regarding those massive cuts here in Romania. But let us look who is behind those cuts. Who are the companies? The companies are coming from the so-called developed countries. So I would say to you a very specific case. I love going to the rural areas, to the rural side, and I could see huge trucks carrying trees, and I said, okay, what should I do? I took action on my own. I went to the local authority. I said something is happening there, you should take action, and they responded very clearly. this is an Austrian company,
Yes.
and the orders are very clear. Do not intervene here. So at the end of the story, there is a problem, or the idea is all about money. So I don't know.
In the
What
movie,
should
there
be
was a
here?
discussion about the foreign investments, yes, and some of them were saying that, and Austrian also, so were saying that there are good money in Romania, yes. I think, I don't know which of you, maybe you, Professor, or someone else said this, that they were asking the no, Professor Zaman said, asking the foreign investors in Romania. Many of them are saying, okay, there is good money here. So, and one example is the Austrian company that is using a lot of the forests or wood. Yes.
They have.
I think that's really about regulation. Foreign investment can be good, but you shouldn't allow companies to do here what they are not doing in their country, because I'm sure they can't do this in Austria.
Yes.
And you need strong regulation and enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Enforcement is even usually more important than the regulation itself, because it's usually what is lacking. But this is really important. And as I said in my presentation, foreign direct investment, you've got spillover effects that can be positive, but it depends on the sector, and generally in things like commodities or forestry or that's not where you get the spillovers. So then you don't get much benefit from this, and you deplete your natural resources. So you should definitely have strong regulation to avoid this.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, but since the representatives of those developed countries, you cannot imagine they do such an aggressive lobby here when trying to regulate or to impose some regulations, then you cannot move things in this respect.
No, but I understand that, but sometimes you need to be strong.
I mean, it's about negotiation.
Yeah, it's just a matter of power, but
it's supposed to be win-win situation. But
I mean, there is no international regulation that impose you to accept anything. There are some things that are mutual agreement in the European Union, but you still have power, and so it's also the role of your politicians to resist. I know it's not easy, but I think it's really the only way.
Indeed, it should be the case, but we are in a team where some are more developed and some are less developed. Yes.
Yeah, but that's true that we had another problem with Roșia Montană, and there something has been done. Yes, I mean, of course, it was not quite political. It was mainly because of NGOs. But anyway, something happened in the forestry. There's nothing done.
I want to speak about Surya idea. I worked in this industry when I finished the university in Berkeley. Okay, now the people are cutting the forest. They obtain some money, a lot of money. The question is how they use this money. Because they forget that the money has two faces, give and received. One day this money will be finished. Regarding the forest, the law in Romania is very good. The system of control exploitation is not efficient. Another way to stop this big problem from Romania is to stop the export of wood raw material for Romania and to establish that Romania will export only furniture. They will not have the reason to cut so much. And another problem is that the government can establish a very good program for a long time to replant the forest in Romania. They are negotiating now for million euro for the next 3 years. About my opinion, this is a three-way when the government must take very serious measure and a very serious decision. It's not late, but it seems to me that in 2 or 3 years it will be very late.
So I think it's a good point to have you here and to debate such interesting topics. Actually, my role is to pass to you some practical information. Meanwhile, so our colleagues from panel B will join us in 2 minutes here to have the presentation, brief summary of discussions and presentations, which will be prepared by, which is already prepared by Emma and Ese. And then we will have the lunch downstairs. So you are all invited. Okay, so we'll have time to have the interview. Now.
You agree with my idea?
Yes.
For realistic point of view, this is
Și din nou se discută despre faptul că deja și că politicile alea de revitalizare a populației sunt undeva mult departe și
am rămas uimit de o chestie. Uitați-vă aceeași
Vedem majd, csak
chestie de educație. Dar ei sunt foarte
én azt, hogyha bejönnek Budapest vasútból. Jó? Megtanulják. Jó? Köszönöm, sokkal. How do you feel? Yes.
Do you have some NDAs or some matter from little enterprises or local enterprises?
Yes.
You can give a program, maybe we establish some common practice
Welcome to Romania.
to establish
We are very
maybe
lucky to
a
have
common
you here.
practice.
Yes, you can.
Mr.
You can speak to the books.
I would like to ask you, because the time is very short,
I
just
think the
questions.
government
What
was
are the situation
we
and
have,
the
but
challenges
you
for the global
in
economy?
your country is very
Well, first, I'm very happy to be here in Romania. The challenges for the global economy, you know, growth has come down to about 3% global growth, which
the local industry.
So we start with again. Sorry.
yeah, it's no problem.
Dear colleagues, we need to have a very short interview, so a little bit of quiet, please. So thank you very much, Mr. Christophe André. We are very lucky to have you here. So firstly, please so kind to answer 2 questions for us and for our viewers. What are the situation and the challenges for global economy?
Well, first, I'm very happy to be here in Romania. The challenges for the global economy. Global growth has come down to 3%. Half of this in advanced economies, so that's very low. That's not enough to create good jobs and to create prosperity. So something needs to be done. Monetary policy has really reached its limits because interest rates are even negative in some countries, so there's not much more to be done. There are also side effects on pensions, for example, when interest rates are low, creating also bubbles, for example, in the housing market. So there are some limits there. So we need new instruments, and some countries have some fiscal space. They can spend a bit more to revive the economy, especially in infrastructure. There is a need of infrastructure in some countries, and there can be investments there. That's important because it boosts demand in the short term, but also the potential growth of the economy in the longer term. Of course, for this you have to select the right projects. Structural reforms can also make the economy more efficient, and one challenge is going to be to keep trade open at the international level, because there is increasing inequality, increasing resistance to trade openness, and fractioning is not going to help anyone in a very integrated economy. So this is a real challenge for policymakers.
Thank you very much. One short question. What countries can do to be more competitive? Because competitiveness, country competitiveness is really important.
Yeah, I think there is a dimension of cost. So you want to have costs that are not rising faster than productivity. But non-cost competitiveness is even more important. And here we are talking about R&D. For example, Romania spends 0.4% of GDP on R&D. The European objective is 2%. Also, skills are very important. The number of young people that are not in a job or in education or in training is much higher in Romania than the European average. So there's something to be done there too. And then framework conditions are important. Improving competition is really important. There was an OECD report on this. It could boost the growth potential. And if you think that, for example, foreign direct investment compared to the size of the economy is about half in Romania what it is in the Czech Republic or in Poland, improving framework conditions could attract more investors, which would generate spillovers, and that could benefit the Romanian economy.
Thank you very much for being so kind. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc și dumneavoastră, îmi cer scuze, dar nu puteam reloca interviul în alt spațiu.
How is the percentage of the local, the little enterprise in your region?
Okay, everybody is here. Okay, so I will invite now our students to have the presentation. You are not ready. So okay. Don't worry. I suggest you to have our lunch now, and we will return here for the presentations, because they need a little bit more time, because we just ended the sessions. So please join us for lunch. You can use both stairs. Don't worry. You can use both stairs, and at 2 o'clock, I would like you to be here for the presentation, and Emma, I would like to be short. I mean, no more than 10 minutes, because we have prepared at 2 o'clock a training seminar writing project proposals. So I don't want to postpone the seminar. Okay, so everything is in place, so enjoy your meal.
If we like it, I will close everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.